Good morning, everybody. I normally get up early so I can catch the Roland Martin show on News One Now. And I got up this morning and saw the show, and I felt like it was very valuable to get, I guess, the highlights or clips from the show out to everybody. I'm going to play this highlight regarding the Clinton-Sanders caucus in Nevada, and exactly why Bernie Sanders has a problem. I'm going to come back at the end. It's going to be approximately 10 minutes or so of this clip, and then I'll make my commentary.
Our panel joining in studio, I have Michelle Bernard, political analyst and attorney for the Bernard Center for Women, Politics and Public Policy. Shermichael Singleton, Republican political consultant. Lauren Victoria Burke, managing editor for Politic365.com. Elroy Sailor, senior advisor to Senator Rand Paul. And Shermichael, you working on the Carson campaign, correct?
That's correct.
All right, so just have full disclosure there. Are you still working on the campaign?
I am still.
Okay, cool. All right. Y'all still in the race?
Yes, we're still.
Y'all still in the race?
I'm no longer working on the campaign. We're still not in the race.
Right. So Paul out of the race, Carson's still in. All right, I want to start first and foremost with the Democratic side. It was a huge win for Secretary Clinton. Obviously, the Sanders campaign was pushing very aggressively in terms of trying to win Nevada. But what do you make of the Sanders campaign claiming they actually won more Latino voters than Hillary Clinton?
You know, I actually think it's possible. I was watching over the weekend some of the Sunday morning shows and some of the people who were on air trying to slice and dice how the Nevada caucuses went that worked for the Clinton campaign. When the allegation was made that he won more Latino voters than she did, they were trying to find ways to come up with the demographics that she actually won. So I think it's possible, and to me it feels a little bit like 2008 as a possibility all over again, just a little bit later in the race.
My point is very simple. You could say you won this group and this group. At the end of the day, she won the caucus, she won the delegates.
Well, I'm not surprised, though, that, Bernie's indicating that he's winning more of the Latino voters. You see the Republicans shifting further and further away from the Latino community in some of their policies. And that gives Bernie Sanders a window, because apparently he's further to the left than Hillary, to be a little bit more aggressive on some of the issues that speak to the Latino community. So I'm not surprised.
But also on the delegates, Roland, these are like the pledged delegates, the super delegates. It's all a super delegate game. If they get down to the very end, Bernie Sanders keeps bringing in the money he is bringing in that will allow him to stay in the campaign until the very end. If he gets more of the popular vote than Hillary Clinton, he's got an argument to make to the DNC and to the super delegates that you should change your allegiance and vote for me because the American public wants me, not Hillary Clinton.
But where is he getting the popular vote?
Well,
I mean, I'm trying to...
See, the issue with Senator Sanders, what he's going to run into once he gets to South Carolina and once he gets to Super Tuesday, where most of those states have a large portion of African-American voters, he cannot win. So I'm not sure what projections his campaign is looking at as far as trying to figure out how long they can stay in this thing, because once they get to South Carolina, I honestly think that's it for him.
But did we say the same thing about Donald Trump?
I think it's over on September 2nd for Bernie Sanders.
So you all
I'm sorry.
March 2nd.
all think Hillary
I think
Clinton
the
is...
day after Super Tuesday, he's got a huge problem. I don't see what he wins on the map of that day. And if you want to look at Hispanic voters, you look at Texas. You don't look at... I mean, Nevada is too small sample for me, 11,000 voters. I just don't think Sanders, he's behind the polls in, I think it's 8 out of 11, 9 out of 11. Obviously, in Vermont, probably some of the upper...
White state.
Yeah, but I just don't see the path to victory at this point. Now, will it be close? Yeah, it'll be close. Could it come down to super delegates? Yeah, it could come down. But I doubt that it will get to that point.
But again, here's one of the things that I believe. Again, Sanders' campaign never believed they would even be where they are.
Exactly right. Yeah.
They put all of their focus on Iowa and New Hampshire.
Right.
And what I kept saying is, first of all, you're trying to run. You're going to broaden. They passed up, and I'm telling you right now, I know because we were involved in it. They passed up numerous opportunities to talk to black people. We have been spending nearly 6 months now trying to get him on the Tom Jordan Morning Show.
Yeah.
They couldn't figure out a time to make it happen, saying, well, that's early. It's 8 million listeners. We've been trying for 6 months to get them on this show.
Yeah.
See, and that's the problem. I got on the Bernie Sanders bandwagon 6 months ago, and because I liked the things that he was saying. But I also said specifically that he better get in and get these black and brown voters, and especially in the southern states, he needed to cut into Hillary Clinton's lead with those particular voters. Now, if what Roland Martin is saying is correct, and Roland Martin and other black radio hosts, etc., have been trying to get the Bernie Sanders people on, or Bernie Sanders himself on, and he has not taken advantage of it, then he's got nobody to blame but himself. You see the gentleman that's on the extreme left, see if I can get him in here a little. Okay, that's Elroy Sailor. He is the Rand Paul campaign advisor. Bernie Sanders should have snatched this guy up as soon as Rand Paul got out of the race. Now, even then, that might have been too late, but this guy was very successful in getting Rand Paul up in front of black media, where Rand Paul was polling higher than every other GOP candidate as far as black people were concerned. Now, Donald Trump, talks a lot of shit about he's going to win a whole lot of black vote, and his whole lot is 25%. And he's claiming that historically black voters only vote about 4% for Republicans, which that was only true during the last two presidential elections. Normally, black voters give the Republicans approximately 10 to 15% of the vote. But if Bernie Sanders had gotten Elroy Sailor into the mix and listened to him and got his butt onto all of these black radio shows, and this particular show, my opinion is he might have been able to win Nevada, because it was the black vote that actually gave Hillary Clinton her victory, because Bernie Sanders did in fact win more Hispanic votes, but she got 75% of the black vote. If he could have just knocked this down to 50%, he would have been able to take the Nevada caucus, because she won by 5%, and she got 6%. A net of 6% from the black voters.
Right. I mean, it's like, so yeah, he did an interview with Ebony. How many folks saw that interview that was posted online?
Yeah.
My whole point is, you have Tom Joyner, Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, Russ Parr, Doug Banks, Yolanda Adams, Joe Madison. He's done Joe's show. I can go down the line, and you pretty much didn't do it, all of them. And now you're trying to come to black folks after winning New Hampshire to talk to them in a 2-week window.
Right.
He was at South Carolina yesterday and pretty much got the big chill from black church there. And that's just
He's
the way.
poorly advised, very poorly advised when it comes to black voters, which is unfortunate.
Well,
I think that is.
The black folks on the campaign have been trying to make the point is his young white advisors.
But are you talking about his campaign manager? Or
no, I'm talking about.
I think his campaign manager is probably the one that probably is saying, well, don't go on this and don't do that, which is a huge mistake. But it happens because of what you said. He made the mistake of underestimating himself. I think they were shocked that they're in the position that they're in now, and so they said, well, there was no strategy for black voters. So it's like they're caught off guard because they're doing so well.
But I mean, one of the things I would, if I play devil's advocate, the question I ask is, is there going to be any trouble for Hillary Clinton? Maybe not, with so many African American scholars in particular writing articles and saying that Hillary Clinton does not demand.
I don't think so. I'm also seeing, though, the same divide that you're seeing on the Republican side of the aisle with the establishment voters and folks who want change. As I travel around in our communities, I'm seeing that same divide. You have the establishment black folks supporting Hillary Clinton, but I'm not so sure the rank and file is going to be there and especially be there in numbers the same way Hillary was.
If you look at all projections, though, overwhelmingly Secretary Clinton is doing significantly well with African Americans. And my question for Senator Sanders is, where is the infrastructure in place in South Carolina and in those other states for him to do well with diverse communities? We know he can do well with whites. Arguably, his campaign says he can do well with his Hispanics, which you have Texas, not any of the other states. So how can he surpass her? I don't see it, which is why my position is she will indeed be the nominee.
The thing that drives me crazy about this conversation is the fact that either one of them can very comfortably sit back and say, we're going to get the black vote or we're going to get the Latino vote. And I wish that there was something more that was happening that would make the Democrats give black people a reason to affirmatively vote for them rather than just being the fallback position because you are better than the devil.
Yeah, Michelle Bernard is exactly right. They need to come out with something that is going to positively affect us and to give us an actual reason to get our butts out there and vote. Now, I got a reason, and my reason is that we need to get out and vote for you guys so that we can start making affirmative changes, i.e. appointing Supreme Court justices that are going to side with us and with you on issues that are important to us, such as voting rights, such as affirmative action. Those are reasons for black people to come out and vote. But these guys are not pushing it. So again, I salute Michelle Bernard for making that statement that we absolutely need a reason to come out and vote.
Not to say anything bad about Republicans.
But that's just the reality of politics. I mean, the bottom line is here: you take any specific group in politics, and so the reality is, if you know. If that group
you create
ain't got anywhere, they ain't got nowhere else to go.
You focus on where you can pick up other votes.
Yeah, but that's why I think the language.
That's the Republicans' problem.
No,
it's not changed from Mitt Romney,
right.
And in fact, I think we're going to see a huge spike in Hispanic voters because of Donald Trump.
Precisely, I agree with that. Now let's go. Speaking of that, Donald Trump was on Jake Tapper on CNN yesterday, and he was asked the question about how he's going to appeal to black folks. Let's play.
The other thing is African American voters. I think I'm going to get a tremendous amount. And you're seeing the stories where African American leaders are saying, you know, my people really like Trump because.
That's bullshit. That's his paid for pastors saying that black people really like Trump. And that was only two, and that was a couple of months ago where that phony meeting got exposed. First it was supposed to be a major press conference, then it turned into a private meeting, then it turned into nothing other than a 1-minute soundbite of him leaving that phony meeting and two phony pastors stepping up there and screaming his praises. And I honestly believe that they were bought and paid for.
To bring jobs back from China and Mexico and Japan and Vietnam and India and all these places that are taking our jobs. I'm going to bring jobs back. And a recent came out where I had 25% African American, and the Republicans usually get about 4 or 5%. And one of the hosts said, if you ever get 25%, this election's over. You might as well not run it.
That was a lie. Trump will not get 25%. Unless he goes out there and hands out $100 bills to 25% of the black population, and even he's not that rich.
I'm going to do great with the African Americans. African American youth is 58% unemployed.
True.
African Americans in their prime are substantially worse off, economically than the whites in their prime. And it's,
true.
It's a very sad situation. I'm going to do great with African Americans. You watch.
False.
Did y'all hear any plan in there to deal with black kids and jobs? All I heard was a reciting of a stat.
Well, he has a plan for absolutely nothing. In fact, I think that not only will he not do well with African Americans, Donald Trump to me is the backlash candidate.
Yes.
And every time African Americans have gotten something in this country, there has been a backlash, whether it was the Emancipation Proclamation or, Brown v. Board or the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. And I think that Trump is the backlash to Barack Obama. And frankly, we're going to see that in the numbers, but see, there's a backlash the other way, and I think millennial Hispanics are going to come out like never before to vote against him in the general.
Look, there was an article in the New Yorker a while ago that said Donald Trump is a rapper, and I don't know if anybody got a chance to read it, but it was hysterical. But
no, we don't read the damn New Yorker. ahead, I'm sorry.
I'll get you a subscription
That's
for
okay.
Christmas.
That's all right. I'm good. I'm good.
If you think about Donald Trump before he ran for president and the African Americans that we saw him hanging out with, clearly for marketing purposes, they are nowhere to be seen. The only high-level or semi-high-level celebrity, if you want to say that hangs with Donald Trump publicly now, is Omarosa from...
And she basically is getting paid by him, to be honest with you. But yeah, what happened to those two crazy ass black women that jumped up? They were screaming up and down for Trump. Once that, I believe it was like a month that he had them up there and told them to go into their act. You haven't seen them since.
Whatever the show was.
Then that doesn't
The
get any
Apprentice.
votes.
That's not going to do anything for Donald Trump. He's got a serious problem. When you say let's make America great again, he is going right back to Ronald Reagan.
Exactly.
The Republican Party, whoever the nominee is, whether it's him or Ted Cruz, has a serious problem with black and Latino voters. Their total is topped out, and they can't get over 60 million.
They have to expand. I worked for Romney in 2012, and we got, I believe, about 59% of the white vote. The reason we lost was because of our inability to target, outreach, and mobilize minorities. I think Mr. Trump
comment didn't help.
And it didn't either, but I think Mr. Trump or Senator Cruz will have a similar issue. I don't see a coalitions in place for them to be able to outreach, target those various groups.
But here's another piece. You need to have a plan.
No, I agree.
Not just a comment.
I also add to a plan. I mean, Michael's with the Carson campaign. I just left the Paul campaign. It is also you have to have the infrastructure. And I'm not talking about the outside infrastructure. I'm talking about the inside infrastructure. Ben Carson has an inside infrastructure of folks that look like us, that understand our community, that know the policies that we care about, that know where we sleep, know where we eat, know where we live, and know the issues that we focus on. Carson had it, and Rand Paul had that infrastructure. I'm not so sure which of the Republican campaigns have that inside infrastructure to make that leap at this point.
They don't. Now, yesterday I was on ABC's This Week, and Republicans are a little upset with me because I said this. This is their problem. They invited evil in, and now evil is taking over. Okay? 2009, the night of Obama's inauguration, we will stop him at every turn. They love the Tea Party anger. They took advantage of it in 10 and 12 and 14. They always said, we can control it. We can harness it. Now, all of a sudden, Trump is taking advantage of it. He led the whole birther deal. The Republican establishment at some point has to say, you know what? We played with fire, and now it's about to consume us. They have to accept some blame.
The establishment never played with fire.
Yes, they did. They did all day.
I don't think the establishment has played with fire. It looks more like a hostile takeover to me. Donald Trump is not a conservative. He is not a Republican.
So why do they like his birther against Obama? Why do they like his fundraising in 2012? Did the Republicans allow Donald Trump to ride the birth issue with Obama? Did they accept his fundraising prowess in 2012? Yes or no? I would say this part of this whole issue when you talk about that anger. Yes, they're ticked off that America is changing when it comes to how we look in terms of becoming a majority-minority country. They're ticked off when it comes to Republican policy. They're saying, I haven't been impacted economically. Well, guess what? Those same voters at some point need to say, I was the one who screwed up because I kept voting for some folks.
Now, I got to give it, and this is going long, and I'm going to basically cut it off right here, but you got to give it to Roland. Once he gets on those shows, he don't take no bullshit from anybody. And I don't know who the white woman was that was commentating, but she was trying to go at him and tried to halfway cut him off. He jumped back in there and made his point and shut her up. So anyway, I'm going to end this video right here. I just feel like it's important for us to get as much information as possible. So I hope that you have received some value from this particular video. I'm getting ready to go make another one on another stupid subject, Jim Claiborne and education.